Danny, going back to what he had a while ago, that high line, but right now fresh tires down on the bottom is just overhauling it.
And overhauling is Mike Skinner around Jeff Gordon for the race lead. He led by a nose at the stripe. Gordon going to kind of hang on the outside, see if he can stay with him.
These two guys on the bottom there drafting. Jeremy Mayfield takes over second.
Just bit in front of Jeff Gordon. Skinner left for one lap earlier during a series of green flag pit stops, so this will be the second time today that he's been out in front. Mike Skinner is a driver whose style is to go absolutely as fast as he can go every lap of the race.
That's the one thing Larry McReynolds said I have to do. He said he's like a runaway horse. You got to pull back on him the whole race to keep him absolutely running the tires right off the car.
Skinner, your leader, has had so many coulda, shoulda ones so far this year. Pocono in July, had the pole, led the most, didn't win. Spring, Talladega, looked like a winner. Tangled with Tony Stewart, didn't win. First Richmond, looked like a winner, crashed instead. Martinsville last week, led the most laps, didn't win. That driver in the number 31, Mike Skinner, is overdue for sure. Maybe today, maybe today.
Career wins here in this particular race. I know one of those fellas. Actually, I know them both, but I know one in particularly well. He's seated right next to me here in the booth. Pretty special day, huh, buddy?
Boy, I tell you what, you may win anywhere in the world, but that first one, there's nothing like it, because all of a sudden you've answered the question to yourself, am I good enough to win on a particular Sunday? And I was, and I won at Daytona, I won at Talladega, most of the major speedways around the country, but nothing equals that first time that you see that checkered flag, and that's for you.
Is it especially good to win here in your own backyard?
Oh yeah, man. When you walk up through there with that trophy, I wouldn't turn it loose. I walked right up through the middle of the grandstand with the trophy, and I looked over and I saw people in the grandstand that I went to school with, people that work in the cleaners, people are, you know, just people you know. And it's special when it's your hometown and you win your first race.
105th career Winston Cup start for Mike Skinner. Will it be victory number one? Getting down to the final stages of the UAW-GM 500. Stay with us. Back live in Charlotte shortly.
UAW-GM Quality 500 rained out yesterday, and it's raining glory right now on Mike Skinner. A perfect day for him here thus far. Into number 31 with 246 laps complete, 369 miles. Definitive moment for him when he went to Japan. Twice he was a winner there, once at Suzuka, last year at Motegi. But he has never won for Larry McReynolds in a point-counting race. He may get to do a few wheelies here today before this one is over, the way he's running right now with a second-and-a-half advantage over Jeff Gordon. What a story he is out of Susanville, California. He came up tough. His mother worked in a tavern. He had pool tables. When he was high school, he worked in that tavern, and he shot pool. He shot pool to pay for the tires on the first cars with which he ran and won races. This guy has come up the hard way. He is one tough race driver, and he's proving it right now here in this 40th annual Fall Classic. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Hey, Ken, you talked about Mike Skinner growing up in a tavern that his mom ran. He told me that he shot pool as recently as 5 years ago to help buy race tires before his Winston Cup career got going. So it just shows you how far that he's come. As recently as 5 years ago, he was hustling pool in Greensboro to pay for tires. Alan Bestwick?
I played golf with Mike Skinner last week. I'm kind of glad I didn't get into one of those contests with him, a $1 for dollars. I might have been broke coming into today. Skinner is the race leader, and Jeff Gordon is second. We look back from Mike Skinner now to Jeff Gordon. Down from our aerial platform, the Duraloop aerial platform, there is Skinner. Now we widen out and look back for Jeff Gordon, who pops onto the right of your screen there. And that is what 1.183 seconds looks like from the leader back to second spot. Now, the big story at this point in the race is that from the last time the leaders were on pit road, and an even lap number 200, it gave us an even 200 miles left to go in the race. So that means that they can go one more pit stop if we go green the rest of the way. And that final pit stop is going to be ever so critical.
It's going to be a lot of pressure on Skinner's pit crew, and he has got one of the best there is, led by David Smith, a 6-time All-Pro Jackman. Smith has led this crew since this team was formed. He works with them every single week. They work out with a trainer a couple of days a week. They practice. They also are looking to build a simulator so they can practice even more often. They lift weights. They run treadmill. And this next pit stop, or the next 2 pit stops they take, may be the most important in the entire existence of this number 31 Lowe's team.
Expect the pit stops around lap 267 for the race leaders. If we stay green, you see upper left of your screen our Napa Field summary. We're at lap 252 now. So only about 15 more laps before those all-important final pit stops come up. And again, that's important, provided there's no caution for the rest of this race. And we are getting down to what is going to be the critical moment in this event. Mike Skinner leads Jeff Gordon. You see there by 0.8 of a second. Gordon is closed in from a 1.5 seconds back and continues to chop in to Skinner's interval. In 5 or 7 more laps, Skinner and the rest of the leaders will have to come down pit road for what could be the pit stop of this race. Steve Burns is in the Mike Skinner pit now to get a thought on their strategy.
Alan, with Larry McReynolds. Larry, you said you were concerned before the race about making the proper changes with this weather changing. You've got a big pit stop coming up. How do you feel about the stop?
Well, I think it's going to come down to who has a good stop this last time. Should it go green the rest of the way? And the race kind of has that look right now. Who gets a set of tires that acts the best for them? The weather keeps changing. The sun comes out. The sun goes in. It's like whose package best suits the weather condition and who has that set of tires that seems to be the magical set for whatever's going on. But look good right now. I think everybody's got to stop one more time here in about 6 or 7 laps. So I think that's going to be what it comes down to.
All right, that means we better get out of the way, guys.
Well, what this all comes down to really, Steve, and I'll throw this one at Dick and Buddy, is that Skinner's crew is going to be put in a position that they've really not been in yet. They're going to have to make a green flag pit stop head-to-head with Jeff Gordon's team and Bobby Labonte's team with the race win on the line.
Pressure. Lots and lots and lots of pressure. And it underscores how much of a team sport this whole thing is. The driver doesn't win this race alone. It takes that crew. It takes the crew chief. Everybody has to mesh together. But you better believe there's some sweaty palms on pit road.
Winston Cup racing is a team sport, no doubt about it. Where the team comes in is this. If Skinner goes down pit road with the race lead and he comes out second, the team did not get the job done. Driver and company. And the driver's got a big part in the pit stop too, buddy. Let's talk about the driver's role in a successful green flag pit stop. What does he have to do?
The first thing he has to do is bring the car in straight into the pit and not get it all crossed up where the guys don't get to the tires right away. And also, he needs the car straight so when they jack it up, they change the tires. If they need to make an adjustment, he can go right out of the pit. If it comes all crooked, he might even have to back up. So he can't make a mistake. He needs to watch his speed coming down pit road. They can throw him right out of here if he comes down there. You get a lap penalty for running too fast. So he's got a lot of pressure on him right now. And he's got a lot of pressure from Jeff Gordon right there, who is moving in on him.
There's Skinner and Gordon. Skinner on the brakes in turn 4. Gordon's going to come right with him. A head-to-head matchup with the pit crews. Look at Gordon get the road faster.
Couldn't be better.
That's what we talked about, the driver doing his job, getting to pit road. Gordon got all he could, getting on the brakes and kept as much speed as he could before the speed limit. Now the head-to-head duel with the pit crews.
And look, Skinner had to put the brakes on because Gordon is pitting further down pit road than Skinner is. Skinner had to slow up for Gordon. What a brilliant move by Jeff Gordon. Wow.
I bet if you were in that 31 car, you wouldn't think it was brilliant.
Bobby Labonte is also in. The top 3 all pitting here. Lap 269 of 334. There's Skinner down and away. Gordon breaks out first. Gordon pitted farther down the pit lane. He's going to get out with the lead. Gordon out first. Labonte out second. Skinner back to third. We talked about it earlier. The pressure was on. Gordon's crew gets the job done best. He's out with the race lead. Jeff Gordon Gordon will have the race lead after an excellent stop by his pit crew, plus the driver coming on the pit road.
Let's talk about what he did there. He came off turn 4 with a lot of speed where Skinner slowed way down. He ran until he got very close to the speed trap where they checked his speed down pit road. He just rode right up beside Skinner, locked the brakes down, went right side by side with him, and as you said, Doctor, he had to back off. Skinner had to. Gordon went by. That cost him precious moments.
Well, you know Mike Skinner is doing his very best not to make a mistake at this point. That's the last thing that he wants on his conscience, is to lose this race by a momentary mistake, so he's been very careful to avoid a speeding ticket.
Now, Gordon's not clear and free by any means. There's Bobby Labonte right by him, and Mike Skinner right behind Labonte.
And Bobby Labonte's had a chance to make an adjustment on that car. He didn't get going the way he did before, but he is flying right now. He's every bit a match for Jeff Gordon as they come off and go down back straightaway.
Labonte running a much higher line than Jeff Gordon at 24.
Back and look at that move coming to pit road by Mike Skinner and Jeff Gordon a minute ago that may turn out to be the critical point of this race.
Well, Gordon just followed him down pit road. Skinner there slowing down, as Buddy said, nice and easily. Here's Jeff Gordon getting beside him. That was a big move by Jeff Gordon.
And here's Bobby Labonte trying to make a big move on Gordon for the race lead.
Side by side as they go down the back straightaway. Two cars look like they're welded together as they head into turn 3. It looks like Gordon's going to get a better drive into the corner, but watch this 18 fight back on the inside.
60 laps to go when they come back to the start-finish line. And Mike Skinner right behind the front shoes. And he's not out of this thing yet, though he has gone from the race lead back to 3rd spot. There you look at the summary of the pit stops. Gordon and Labonte picking up a spot. Skinner losing 2. Jeremy Mayfield losing a couple after coming down the pit road out of fuel.
Ward Burton is still in 4th spot. He's still got a shot at this thing.
Look, Mike Skinner is absolutely flying there in the 31 car. That's him just coming off the corner there. He has picked up about 8 or 10 car lengths in the last 2 laps. He's catching the leaders at a fast pace.
So, if we don't get a caution flag, these cars should be good to go to the finish on fuel. The question is now, whose car will handle better over the long haul? Can Bobby Labonte overhaul Jeff Gordon? Can Mike Skinner get by them both?
Mike Skinner looks the fastest right now as he drives right to the bottom of the racetrack. Both of his cars go up, and here comes Skinner.
Labonte around the outside. Bobby Labonte to the race lead. Here comes Mike Skinner for second.
The crowd's up on their feet right now as Mike Skinner proves he has a great race car. He drives right by Jeff Gordon on the high side, picks the throttle up, motor's right on by.
And you got to wonder if Jeff Gordon is trying hard to take care of those tires. If there is anything he is famous for, it is taking care of the tires, particularly when they're brand new. He's hard on the gas right now.
Oh, wow, lap traffic. Somebody's got to give.
Oh, boy, look out.
Tight. That's Johnny Benson, the car on the top side of the 3-wide situation. Please play. He's just trying to stay out of the way at this point. But where does he have to go?
No place. And remember the rule, 3 wide doesn't work. Unless you're a record driver.
And Bobby Labonte looks in the mirror and says, y'all just keep on with that lap traffic. I'm checking out.
Labonte has gotten away from Gordon and Skinner just a little bit. There's the interval there. Labonte left of your screen. The car high, the green machine coming off turn 4. Working up and around the Sterling Marlin car to put him another lap down. Sterling back in 32nd spot. The fans are loving it. Terrific action here as we get toward the late stages of the race.
Labonte hit that traffic just right. He really didn't. Caught Skinner in the 24 of Gordon. And right now they're having to deal with Michael Waltrip in the number 7. And here we are, 3 wide again.
Mike Skinner wants second very badly right now. You can see him sliding the car just a little bit, getting in the corner on the bottom side there. Jeff Gordon's on the high side. They come off nose to tail down the front straightaway.
Boy. Great racing here as we get down to the final stages of today's UAW-GM 500 Lowe's Motor Speedway at Charlotte. You're seeing it live on Monday on Superstation TBS. Bobby Labonte taking the race lead away from Jeff Gordon at lap 276 at 3:34, getting away from them a little bit in traffic. And now Gordon left to fight with Mike Skinner for second. Skinner hoping to get around Gordon and have a shot at his first Winston Cup win.
See, folks, I was telling you true. Gordon does do the high line sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Mike Skinner has the lap traffic, but you see on the bottom there, Sterling Marlin in the 40 car. You call them lap traffic. They're running pretty darn good. You notice the leaders are not catching them that quick.
Skinner pins Gordon in behind the John Andretti car, who was up in the high line of turn 2. So Skinner to second. Gordon back to third. Skinner 1.2 seconds behind Bobby Labonte, the race leader. Here's the view from Gordon.
Bobby got a great jump right there. As they were fighting that lap traffic, he was out there right by himself, running a perfect line around the racetrack and built up a pretty good lead.
The race for second. Jeff Gordon has run down Mike Skinner. He followed a little bit behind him, but now he's caught him.
Jeff Gordon down on the bottom of the racetrack. It seems when the sun goes behind the clouds, he picks up a little bit on the 31 there of Skinner. I think Skinner's car is much better when the sun is on the racetrack. He's really good. But you see right there, Jeff Gordon making a move now to the outside.
Gordon's flying. That last lap, he was by far the fastest man on the speedway. This lap, over 167 miles an hour for Jeff Gordon.
While we watch these guys go around, I want to write a thing I said during qualifying the other night. I said that McDonald's would not be on the Bill Elliott car next year. That is incorrect. They will be with him through the next year. In 2001, they'll go elsewhere.
We wondered about the engine underneath the hood of the car that's now in the lead. We wondered about that at the beginning of the broadcast. So far, so good. Lots of horsepower, all the reliability. But Gordon with all kinds of muscle. Down on the bottom, here he comes.
Fans are on their feet. Gordon making a late charge to within 2 car lengths of Bobby Labonte. Across the start-finish line. 8 laps to go in the event.
This comes down to who wants it the most. You see Gordon going to the bottom as the 18 goes up the racetrack. He's run that way all day long, but it's now down to less than a car length.
Here's Gordon trying Labonte for the lead. Back straight away. Gordon low. Labonte high into turn 3.
Side by side as they start off turn 4. Gordon gets a little edge as they start off the corner.
Squeezes up in front of Bobby Labonte and shuts off the running lane. Jeff Gordon to the race lead with 7 laps to go. Incredible. He was 1.2 seconds behind with 20 to go. He's caught him and passed him with 7 laps left. The dynamic duo, Ray Evernham and Jeff Gordon, splitting up 2 weeks ago. They went to Martinsville, Virginia for the first time without Ray Evernham as crew chief and won last Sunday. Now on a Monday in Charlotte, Gordon, after a late laps rally to get by Bobby Labonte, takes the checkered flag for a second straight week. Jeff Gordon wins at Charlotte. He takes the UAW-GM 500 for Rick Hendricks and his Rainbow Warrior team.
And Mike Skinner finished third. Mike, you led laps today, just didn't lead the last one. No, it was a good run for our Lowe's Chevrolet, and I want to thank everybody with Lowe's and everybody with Chevrolet, everybody with Goodyear. Goodyear had a great tire today, and man, more power to them. We tore up a couple there in practice, was a little bit worried about it, but never no problems all day today. The tires was awesome, the car was awesome. We just got tight right there in the last run. You know, we put a set of tires on, made a couple tiny little adjustments, and we just messed around and got our car a little bit too tight, and that's the way it goes. You know, I thought today might be the day if it stayed green, but wasn't meant to be today. I don't know if we're ever going to win one, but we're going to a good place next week. We're really going to give a heck of a shot to put the Lowe's Chevy in first place next week, if at all possible. All right, best of luck at Talladega. Let's go back to Allen.
Mike Skinner led 65 laps today, but they weren't the right 65. Jeff Gordon was the winner, getting by Bobby Labonte with 7 laps to go. Frustration for Bobby Labonte, pounding the wheel as Gordon went by him and went on to score the victory.